Okay, who can tell me what season we're in? Winter, that's right. Seasons. Name them all. Winter, spring, summer, fall. And we are in the season winter. So think about what we talked about yesterday. We talked about animals in winter and what some of them do to get ready for winter. Remember that big word, hibernation? We talked about some animals hibernate. Tell me what it means to hibernate. Who remembers? If they hibernate, that means they sleep all winter long. That's right. And we read a book about some animals that hibernate. I think there was a part about bears that hibernate, and ladybugs, and snakes, and groundhogs. Remember those animals in that book? They all hibernate. They all sleep all winter long. They don't wake up until the weather gets warmer outside in the spring. So we're going to keep talking about hibernation today. I have another book for us to read. This is called Why Do Animals Hibernate? Do you know why they hibernate? What do you think? We're going to find out. This is going to tell us why do animals hibernate. And this book has real pictures in it again, so be sure and look at them. They're really cool pictures. Okay? This book was written by David Martin. He's the author. So what was his job as the author? He wrote the words in the book. That's right. Who remembers this part of the book? What is it called? Front cover. What's this part called? Back cover. What's this part called? Spine. Good job. All right. Let's read. Why do animals hibernate? Here's our title page. Why do animals hibernate? Okay, here we go. Let's find out. It gets cold outside in winter. Some animals grow a thick coat to stay warm. Now I want you to think about that. We talked a little bit in the fall about animals' coats. Do you remember what that means? They don't go to their closet and get out a coat and put it on their body over their clothes, do they? Their coat is their fur. Their fur on their body is called their coat. And in winter, it grows thicker to keep their body warm. They can't go put on more clothes like we can. They can't go get a coat and put it on like we can to stay warm. They have to grow thicker fur. So when it says the animals grow a thick coat, that means that their fur is growing thicker. Okay, do you see that picture? Some animals go to sleep for the whole winter. That is called what? Hibernation. That's what we're talking about. What do you see in that picture that tells you it's winter? I see snow. That's a sign of winter, isn't it? Having some snow. Bears hibernate all winter. They don't wake up for months. Remember, we talked about that yesterday. They sleep a very, very long time. They gather all their food. They eat a lot of food before they hibernate so they won't be hungry. And then they go in their dens. Remember, that's what their home's called. And they sleep all winter long. Bears hibernate to stay out of the cold. Sounds like a pretty good idea to me, doesn't it, you? You can sleep all winter long and stay where it's warm. Bears sleep in a warm place called a den. Look at that. That's a great picture of a den. Looks kind of like a cave, doesn't it? But we call it a den. Bears eat a lot during the summer and fall, so they don't get hungry when they go to sleep. Can you see what that bear's eating? What is he eating? He's caught a fish, huh? He's eating a fish. Did you know bears eat fish? Now you do. This is a chipmunk. Chipmunks hibernate too. They hibernate to stay out of the cold. Chipmunks dig holes under the ground. These holes are called burrows. So here's the chipmunk here. Kind of like the bear, he gathers food before he hibernates. And instead of going in a den, the chipmunk goes in a burrow down in the ground. They're kind of like squirrels, aren't they? Oh, when we learned about squirrels, we learned about this. Chipmunks gather food during the summer. Now, look at his cheeks. Do you see how full his cheeks are? Think about what we learned in the fall about squirrels. Remember what I told you? They gather food, they gather their acorns and everything that they're going to eat, and instead of carrying it in their hands, where do they carry their food before they eat it to take it back to their house? In their cheeks, right? They put the food in their cheeks and they have little pouches inside their mouth, inside their cheeks, and they stuff those full with food, and that's why their cheeks look full. Can you show me what your cheeks would look like if they were filled with food? Ready? That's what we would look like if we were a chipmunk right now gathering food for winter. They save the food inside their burrows. That way they don't have to come back out and find food. All right, look at this. What is this a picture of? We talked about them yesterday in our other book. Bats. Bats sleep upside down. Some of them do this all winter long. Bats hibernate because it is hard for them to find food in the winter. So they prepare for winter by eating a lot, and then they just sleep like the bears and the chipmunks. They hibernate. Look how he's hanging upside down by his feet, like we talked about yesterday. Pretty cool, isn't it? Bats sleep with other bats when they hibernate. They hibernate inside of caves to keep each other warm. I want you to look. I don't know if you can see real close. Can you see those pictures? Remember what I told you they do with their wings? They take their wings and they wrap it around their body like a blanket to stay warm. Did you know frogs hibernate too? They sleep in mud. The mud keeps them warm and safe until spring. Did you know that? Hibernating keeps animals safe and warm. It would be fun to sleep all winter. A lot of other animals hibernate too. Do you know who they are? I don't know. Can you think of another animal that might hibernate? We're going to talk about some more tomorrow, so maybe we can answer that question. All right. Ooh, and look at this. This is to remind us what we just read about. This says, where do animals sleep? Let's see what we remember. Bears sleep inside their what? Den. Chipmunks sleep inside, what's that hole in the ground called? Their burrow. Bats sleep inside what with other bats? Caves. And frogs sleep inside what? What's all over his body? Can you see? Mud. All right. And here's words that we can learn from this book. Burrow is the hole that the chipmunks sleep in underground. Cave is where the bats sleep. That word says cave. This says colony. That's a new word. A colony is a group of bats together. And this is the den for the bear. All right, I learned a lot in that book. Did you? That's the end. So, did we learn a little bit about why animals hibernate? Think about that. Why do animals hibernate? They hibernate to stay warm in the winter. Some of them hibernate because there's not enough food out in winter for them, so they sleep and they gather their food before winter. And it's one of the ways that animals stay safe in winter is by hibernating. All right, I want you to watch the other video on your tablet today. It's another good book about hibernation, okay? See what you can learn from that book, and tomorrow we're going to talk a little bit more about hibernation, all right?